So the first topic I'm going to talk about is the script for The Batman 2 has been finished by Matt Reeves and the other writer that's working with him on it. And I think it's exciting news. I mean, I love the Batman movie with Robert Pattinson. That's one of my favorite Batman movies, and I've been definitely been waiting to for them to get the script done. And I know it's taking them a while. And I know there's been like reports going around that maybe it had to do with Matt Reeves' health or something in his personal life. And I know James Gunn has constantly commented on the script for this movie and constantly reports going out that, Matt Reeves just likes to take his time, but also reports maybe reports going there was something personal in his life that he was dealing with. You know, if there was, well, if this was just one of those things where, he just really likes to take his time on the script. Look, I don't have a problem with long waits between movies. At the end of the day, to me, it's like, why do you put out a good to great movie then watch the movie out? I mean, James Gunn made a recent comment, which I love, which is one reason why I think James Gunn is perfect for the DC universe, is that he made a recent comment going like, one of the reasons why studios maybe, you know, why you see people not going to movies as much is because a lot of these movies at times feel like they're Western the script. Which I do feel that because there's been some movies this year that I felt disappointed in when I was like, you know, to me, I'd rather you take your time on the script. Like, make sure you have a good to great script. That doesn't always mean the movie's gonna turn out to be good because you can have a great script and then when you actually make the movie and execution, that's where it comes down to. It comes down to execution, how you take what you know. You can have a good script. That doesn't mean it will translate into a good or great movie. But I do think that's an important part of a movie is to have a solid script. And I had no problem with Matt Reeves taking as long as he wanted to. Like I love that first Batman movie, and I was never one of those people that thought Batman 2 wasn't gonna happen. Like I know some fans thought like, oh, they're not gonna like Matt Reeves isn't gonna get his Batman trilogy, and I do think he's gonna get the Batman movie if this one does well because look, the first Batman movie made 770. It made a lot of money and it was a critical success. I don't see why they and James Gunn, he's a filmmaker, and from what it sounds like, they're gonna do Elseworld movies too. And if he feels like they have a good script, he's gonna do the movie. So to me, I don't have a problem taking all the time you want. I mean, if the movie turns out to be good, a great movie like the first movie, then that's all I care about at the end of the day. And that's one of the things I love about James Gunn is that he's made it clear that he cares about making sure they have a good, solid to great script. And I just like yeah, this sucks. We have to wait. You start to wait. We had to wait this long for the script to be done and from the start filming. Yeah, but at the same time, I'm a fan who cares more about the quality and making sure you get a good to great movie out than about like how long you take. So I did think this was exciting news as a Batman fan. I cannot wait for Matt Reeves' Batman sequel, and hopefully they can start filming soon. So, because like I said, I love that first movie, so I really want to see Matt Reeves' trilogy. I really want to see Matt Reeves do this crime trilogy that he has planned because I just think the first one was just a great first movie, and I definitely want to see where he goes in the second, and if he has to do the third one. The next thing is Christopher Nolan movie The Odyssey. Apparently, reports going around there. A trailer's gonna be coming out soon for it. I cannot wait to see the first footage for this movie because honestly, I think it's just a great. To me, I'm really excited because of the cast, the story, and this just feels like a different type of movie for Christopher Nolan. Like I love the idea that this feels like a different genre and then like a story that feels like it's different from other Christopher Nolan movies. So I love the fact he's doing like something different. And like I said, I think this movie just looks like it has a great cast. So I'm really curious to see the first footage from the Odyssey. To me, Christopher Nolan, anytime he makes a movie, I'm always excited to see what Christopher Nolan does. So definitely excited to see what the first trailer and first footage is going to look like for this movie. The next thing is that Denis Villeneuve has been announced to be directing the next James Bond movie. And I'll say this has me the most intrigued in a James Bond movie because I've never been a James Bond person personally. Like I've seen like two of the Daniel Craig ones. I never actually watched any of the ones before that. but I just never really had much interest in watching the James Bond movie. Like the character doesn't really, I don't know, like James Bond's like one of those franchises just I've never found myself really having an interest to check out, and the character never really intrigued me. Even the two Daniel Craig ones, like I can't remember which one. Like I know I watched like the one of them. It was a two before No Time to Die because I know he did like four of them I think, but I don't know. It's never been a franchise I've been like, oh man, I'm really excited to see the next James Bond movie. This has me actually really intrigued and a little bit excited because Denis Villeneuve I think is just a fantastic director. Like he did the two Dune movies, which I love. I know he's going to be doing the third Dune movie. He did Arrival with Amy Adams, which I loved. He's done a lot of great movies, and I think he definitely makes me actually really intrigued to see his sense of story and style, and what his James Bond movie would be. I think he's also a fan of the character. So for the first time, I'm actually really intrigued in a James Bond movie, because I usually just, like I said, I'm just not like somebody who's really big in like been that big of a James Bond person. So this is the first time I'm actually intrigued in a James Bond movie, and actually really curious to see what type of James Bond movie they're going to be going for with Denis Villeneuve as a director. The next topic is, so John Bernthal has been officially announced he's going to be in Spider-Man Brand New Day, which I love this. John Bernthal to me he's my favorite Punisher. I loved him in the Daredevil show. I'm still watching the first season of Punisher, which I'm loving so far. I gotta watch season 2 and finish season 1. But to me, he's the best Punisher for me personally. And I know he's getting a special presentation, so I cannot wait for that. And I think this is a very interesting team up. I will say that though, because Punisher is an all-weighted character. Now you have had. I remember there was Punisher's first appearance. I think he was going after Spider-Man in his first appearance. So there is some history there in the comics with the Punisher and Spider-Man there when it comes to you know. I'm assuming they've teamed up in the comics before, but I remember his first appearance, he was like going after Spider-Man. I remember in the 90s animated series, you had Punisher in there. And I just think it's an interesting, if like, are they teaming up? I know there's rumors going around, that Mark Ruffalo as a Hawk is going to be in this, and it's going to be like back to like Savage Hawk, and maybe the idea is maybe Punisher and Spider-Man team up to stop the Hawk. I've heard that theory. It hasn't been confirmed whether Mark Ruffalo is even going to be in the Spider-Man movie, so that's just rumored. But I'm curious: is Punisher and Spider-Man going to be teaming up in this movie, or are they going to be enemies? I just think, and also this fact that they're going to have to tone Punisher down a little bit, because Spider-Man, he's a PG-13 character. I don't see Punisher being as violent as he can be, let's say, in his own show or in one of the special presentation they're working on. Because I don't have a problem with it. Like, John Bernthal seems to really understand the character, and I don't think he would do it unless he feels like it's not gonna like to him. When he talks about the Punisher, it sounds like he would, when it comes to this character, he's very passionate about the character. He's not gonna do anything that's gonna hurt the character. So I just think it's gonna be an interesting team up, and also it kind of, you have like characters like Daredevil and Punisher, which I love those scenes in the Daredevil show where you had this character that didn't kill, and this character who does kill the bad guys. I think him and Spider-Man are even more opposite from each other tone wise. That I think it would be interesting, like whether the team up are going against each other. I just think it's an interesting choice to have Punisher in the Spider-Man movie. So I think it's exciting news, and again, I'm already excited for this movie, but this makes me even more excited. The next thing is that Lilo Stitch 2 is officially announced. So I'm not surprised. This movie's made over 900. It might make a billion. Who knows at this point if it's going to reach a billion. I think it definitely still has a shot, but I also think it can end up being Minecraft when it gets really close. But even if it doesn't make a billion, this movie's made over 900. It's going to do a sequel. Like the Lilo Stitch movie cost 100 budget-wise. Yeah, I don't know marketing like that. Yeah, this movie's definitely made enough to get a sequel. And look, I'm like either way on it. It's like I didn't love the Lilo and Stitch live action movie. I didn't dislike it either. It was just kind of, it was okay. It was cute, but I'm not like, oh my god, I can't wait to see a sequel to it. So, but like, I love the animated movie. So, it like for me, this news doesn't really excite me all that much, like too much. But I it makes total sense with how much money the first Lilo and Stitch live action movie made. And maybe with the sequel, they'll improve on the stuff that didn't work for me about the first one. The next thing is that there's reports going around that Michael Bay is developing a new Transformers movie. I think there's also reports going around that the Transformers One director is working on a live action Transformers movies, and there's like two other ones in development, and I think they're still working on the whole GI Joe Transformers crossover movie. So it sounds like they have a couple of Transformers movies, and when it comes to the GI Joe Transformers crossover movie, I'm not really excited for that. When it comes to the Transformers 1 directing the last Transformers movie, that's the one I'm excited for because I love Transformers 1 and it sucks that movie because of that first bad trailer that it didn't get a sequel because that movie was great and that director had a trilogy plan and I'm glad they're not just getting rid of the director, that he's still going to make a Transformers movie, but I would have loved to see that trilogy, play out. And I love Transformers 1. Now, when it comes to Michael Bay developing a new Transformers movie, this doesn't excite me at all. Now, I get it in the sense that, look, those Transformers movies, Michael Bay ones, like, I enjoyed the first one, but it's not like a movie that I love. I hated all the sequels. But Transformers 1 through 4 made money. Like, I believe the first Transformers movie made in a 700 area, and then Transformers 2 through 4, Age of Simpson, all made $1 billion. And then the Transformers Last Night made like over 600, and that's where the franchise, that's where people kind of call it with how bad it. And again, if you enjoy a lot of the sequels, that's, it's all. I know I'm happy for you, but Michael Bay to me just kind of like made some really bad movies, and I think people kind of caught on to that. But the Last Night where it made only over 600. But even at over 600, that still made more than Bumblebee, Transformers 1, or Transformers Rise and Beast. Like, Bumblebee and Transformers Rise and Beast both made over 400. Transformers 1, made over 100 and just bombed. So I get why they would bring Michael Bay back maybe to do a new Transformers movie, because even his lowest one made more money than Bumblebee and Transformers Rise of the Beast. But I also think I just don't really feel excited for this idea. No offense to Michael Bay. Look, I love The Walk. It's my favorite Michael Bay movie with Sean Connery and Nicolas Cage. It's one of my favorite action movies. I love that movie. I love 13 Hours. And, I enjoyed the first Transformers movie, but I don't love it. But those Transformers sequels I thought were so terrible. Like, Fallen and Woe were bad. And like I said, even with the first Transformers movie, Michael Bay's first one, I enjoyed it. But there's times in that movie where it has Michael Bay's like style of humor that don't work for me. And I know some people maybe bought the idea is like, what if you did a Legacy sequel? You bought Shia LaBeouf, Megan Fox back. That wouldn't excite me either because I like Shia LaBeouf's character in the first movie. I thought he was fine. I'm not like I don't love his character in the first movie. I thought I didn't hate his character either. There was funny parts with his character. And Megan Fox I thought was fine in the first movie too. I couldn't stand Shia LaBeouf's character in the second and third one personally. He kind of became annoying to me, his character in those sequels. And just like I said, overall, it's not like I loved his character. Like for me personally, if they were saying they were going to do a Bumblebee sequel or a Transformers movie with Harley Steinfeld's character, I would be excited for that because I love that character. I love Bumblebee. That had to me a lot of heart, best human characters, best story. But Michael Bay doing another Transformers movie just does not really excite me. I didn't love any of his Transformers movies. I enjoyed the first one, but there's problems I have with that movie. When it comes to his humor and Shia LaBeouf's character, Megan Fox's character, aren't characters that I love. Like they're fine in the first movie, but it's not like they're like characters I am like that I love, like the Bumblebee human characters. So I don't know. To me, he kind of destroyed the franchise, and I don't really want to see him back. I get it, though, from a financial point of view of how much money his movies made, his Transformers movies. But I kind of feel like they're just throwing stuff at the wall with this franchise right now. And personally, I would prefer if you just, like, I think it would have been better just to do a Bumblebee sequel instead of Rise of the Beast at the time. And I would prefer them take another chance on Transformers, like a Transformers 1 sequel, even if the first one bombed. But I understand why they won't, because you lost money on that movie. And like I said, Transformers 1 director working on a live action movie, that's the one that really excites me out of that ones that are in development. The Michael Bay one and the G.I. Joe Transformers crossover one, those two don't really excite me personally. So I don't know. Michael Bay developing a new Transformers movie. If they if the studio ends up bringing him back, Paramount, and they end up doing a new Transformers movie with him, I'll be honest, I don't have any interest in that. But you know, I also get that, like I said, those movies did make money, those Michael Bay ones. And those movies, I understand, is first they do kind of have a. There's people out there who just grew up on those first three movies. It's just, for me personally, I just didn't love any of his Transformers movies, so I can't say I would be excited if he came back to do a new one. So that's my thoughts on all the movie topics today. Until next time, movie fans.